Welcome students, to the students of standard 8. I welcome you to this class. We have been studying about the natural vegetation and wildlife resources. In the previous class I have told you about the natural vegetations, which includes the forest, the grasslands and the shrubs. So all together the forest, grasslands and the shrubs together known as the natural vegetation that grow naturally. I also have told you about the distribution of natural vegetation in different part of the earth. I have taught you about the different types of forests we find on this earth. Today we are going to discuss about the grasslands. As I told you, once again repeating, natural vegetation includes the forest. We have already discussed and studied about the forest, and natural vegetation includes the grasslands and also includes the shrubs. So now we are going to study about the grasslands. Grasslands are mainly landscape with grass everywhere. Once again repeating, what are the grasslands? These are the lands covering the grasses. A huge land, a vast land only covered with the grass are called grasslands. As it is written, grasslands are mainly landscape with the grass everywhere. Now, some well-known grasslands of the world. These are the well-known grasslands of the world. Let me tell you particularly about these grasslands. These grasslands are the vast area covering the grasses. Especially these grasslands are meant for the grazing of animals. In different part of the earth, in different continents, there are people who rear animals. So these grasslands are especially meant for rearing of the animals. These grasslands are prairies of the North America, pampas in South America, velds in South Africa, downs in Australia and steppes in Eurasia. These are the names of the different grasslands found in different part of the earth. And once again I am repeating, these are the grasslands which are meant only for the grazing of animals. It could be the wild animal and also the domestic animals. So these are the well-known the grasslands of the world, earth. Prairies of North America, pampas found in the South America, velds of South Africa, downs in Australia and steppes in Eurasia. Now the characteristics of these grasslands. What are the characteristics of these grasslands, where they are found? So the characteristics of these grasslands are low rainfall. These are mainly found in the area where low rainfall, less rainfall areas. These grasslands are found mainly in the low rainfall areas. Now because of the less rainfall in these areas, the big trees do not grow. Because of the less rainfall, the big trees cannot grow in these areas, and therefore this vast area remains mainly covered with the grassland and small bushes. Second thing is they are covered with the tall grasses. There are some grasslands which have the tall grasses, the grasses which grows up to the 4 meters. So they are area with the tall grasses, and these areas are mainly meant for the rearing of the cattle. So these are the characteristics of these grasslands. Once again I am repeating, what are the characteristics of these grasslands? The characteristics of these grasslands are they are found in the low rainfall areas, and because of this less rainfall, because of the low rainfall, the big trees cannot grow, and therefore these lands, these areas mainly remains covered with the small the grasses and small bushes. Second, some of these grasslands where we find the tall grasses, these grasses can grow up to the 4 meter of height, and these grasslands are meant for the rearing of the animals, cattle, grazing of the cattle. Now grasslands are broadly classified. This, as we have seen the classification of the forest, so also we have the different classification of the grasslands. the grasslands are classified as tropical grasslands and the temperate grasslands. So the grasslands of the earth are mainly classified into tropical grassland, means the grasslands which are found in the tropical areas of the earth, and the grasslands which are found in the temperate areas of the earth. So as we have this earth, and when we see the globe, in the globes we see the tropical areas, and I have previously also I told you this, in the globe these the area beside the equator, these areas are called tropical areas, near the tropic of Cancer and near the tropic of Capricorn. These are tropical areas, and these are the temperate areas. These are the temperate areas. So tropical areas which are between the equatorial area and the temperate area, and the temperate areas are between the tropical and the Arctic and Antarctic circle in both the hemisphere. So these grasslands are found in tropical areas and also in the temperate areas. Tropical areas and the temperate areas. So the grasslands which are found in the tropical regions of the earth, they are called the tropical grasslands, and the grasslands which are found in near the temperate regions, they are called the temperate grasslands. Let me come to these tropical grassland. These tropical grasslands are the grasslands where the rainfall is moderate. The rainfall is moderate and less, and therefore the tall trees cannot grow in these areas. These grasslands are called as the savanna. Mainly these tropical grasslands are called as savanna, found in almost every continent, and these grasslands, these tropical grasslands or these savanna grasslands, are almost found in every continent of the earth. So that is all about the tropical grasslands. I told you these tropical grasslands are found in the tropical areas in the northern hemisphere as well as in the southern hemisphere, near the tropic of Cancer and the tropic of Capricorn. Now I also told you these grasslands are called as the savanna and found in almost all the continent. This type of grasslands are found. Moving to the next is the temperate grasslands. Now temperate grasslands are found between the 30° to 55° latitudes in the both the hemisphere. So they are found between 30° to 55° latitudes. Once again, let me draw. This is the tropic of something starting from the 0°. Then comes the tropic of Cancer, and then comes the temperate, and then the Arctic circle. So in both the hemisphere it is the same, and therefore they starts from the 30° or somewhere here 30° to 55° in the both the hemisphere. In this also 30 to 55° in both the hemisphere. So these temperate grasslands are found near the temperate region. Once again I am telling, they are found in near the temperate regions, and they are found in between the 30° to 55° latitudes in both the hemisphere. Now coming to the advantages of this natural vegetation. Next we are moving to the advantages of natural vegetation. Why these natural vegetations are so important? What are the advantages of this natural vegetation? So these natural vegetations have many advantages, benefits. First of all, they protect the soil from erosion. Natural vegetation, they protect the soil from erosion. We know because of the running water, the soil is eroded. This creates the desertification of the land, and it removes the fertility of the land, and therefore plants and grasses and bushes and trees, they are very much important to hold the soil. They protect the soil from the roots of these plants, roots of this natural vegetation. They hold the soil, and therefore does not allow the water to wash the soil, and it protects the soil from erosion. So what is the first advantage of this natural vegetation? they protect the soil from erosion. Number two, they replenish the groundwater, means they hold the groundwater. Because of the natural vegetation, because of the grass and plants, we have the underground water, because they hold the water and allows the water to go inside the earth. And otherwise, if the plants and trees are not there, what will happen? The running water will directly go and mixed in some rivers and in sea and ocean. But because of the plant and trees and these grasses, the water, they hold the water and allows the water to go inside the earth, and as in this way they replenish the groundwater, they hold the groundwater, which is very much important for our need. And we only drink this natural groundwater, so that is for our drinking purpose. Next is okay, they release the oxygen, so very much important. This is the most important thing of the natural vegetation, the plants, the grasses and the trees. They provide, they release the oxygen, and this oxygen is important for all the living beings, including the human beings, the animals. We breathe this oxygen which is released by the plants, so they release the oxygen. They provide shelter to wild animal. Natural vegetation, the forest, these are the home to wild animals. So they provide the shelter or homes to wild animal, and they provide many commercial products. And one more thing, this natural vegetation, this forest, they provide us many the commercial products, different things. They provide the timber, and they provide the firewood, they provide the fruits, the vegetable, the nuts and different things, and therefore they are commercially very much beneficial. So these are the advantages of the natural vegetation. Next we see the conservation of natural vegetation. We see the exploitation of natural vegetation is being done even from the ancient period. The natural vegetations are being exploited because of the different reasons, because of the urbanizations, because of the construction of the dams, construction of the roads, construction of the railway lines, railway tracks, and because of the construction of the buildings. These are the different reasons why these natural vegetations are exploited. The trees and forests are cut because of the construction of the road, because of the construction of the railway tracks, because of the construction of the, because of the, as the population is growing, people are converting these forest areas and cleaning, cutting the trees and constructing the building. So because of the construction of the buildings, then construction of the dams and urbanization, industries, because of all these regions, this natural vegetation, these forests are being cleaned and cut, and they are exploited. So as we have seen, they are very much important. Without the natural vegetation, we cannot imagine our life. It is not possible for human beings and animals to survive on this earth. Therefore we need to save the natural vegetation. So what we have to do, we have to conserve the natural vegetation. What is the meaning of the conservation of natural resources? Using the natural resources wisely. The conservation of resource means we cannot stop the using of these natural resources. We have to use these natural resources for our survival. So we cannot stop the using of natural resources, but what we can do is we have to use these natural resources very wisely. Second things, we should not waste the natural resources. We have to stop the wastage of natural resources. And next thing, we have to save them for the future. We have to save the natural resources for the future. Not only we use it, but also we have to save it for our future. So these are the ways through which we can conserve our natural resources. What are the things we have to do? We have to use the natural resources wisely. Then second things, we have to stop the wastage of the natural resources, and thirdly, we have to save the natural resources for our future. So this is the way to conserve the natural resources. Next we see the wildlife and its distribution. As we have been studying about the natural resources and wildlife, let me tell you what is wildlife. Wildlife refers to the different types of plants and animals and microorganisms living in a natural habitat. Plants and animals and the microorganisms, they live in a natural habitat. They are called the wildlife. Why this wildlife is important? Wildlife is also important because they are the very much important part of the ecosystem. Because of this wildlife, because of these different animals, the ecosystem is protected. Ecosystem means a balance in the nature. It balance the nature, and we need the help of all the animals and plants. So animals are an important part of this ecosystem. So if we want to make a balance in the nature, if we want to save our natures and live peacefully, then we have to save this wildlife, because they are the part of this ecosystem. Without the animals, the ecosystem will be destroyed, the balance in the nature will be destroyed, and it will be difficult for us to live on this earth. So that's why now wildlife and distribution, we see this wildlife, these animals are also distributed in different part of the earth, in different continents. We have a different types of animals according to the climate. According to the temperature, the different types of animals are found in different part of the earth. We cannot find the same types of animals everywhere. For example, the animals that we see in the tropical areas, we cannot see them in the polar areas. So the animals of the polar areas are different from the animals of the tropical areas because of the climate. So because of the climate, according to the climate, these animals, they adapt themselves, they change themselves and make themselves fit for living in a particular area. So because of the different types of climate, these different types of animals are found in different part of the earth. This we see wildlife in the Africa, wildlife in Europe, wildlife in North America, wildlife in South America, and these are the different areas where we have different types of animal. So that's all for today. From this chapter we have understood about the chapter, the natural vegetation and wildlife resources. I hope it will help you to remember the chapter properly, and it will help you to understand the chapter properly. That's all for today. Thank you very much.